Wow.
I downloaded Layers of Fear from my Steam library. It's been sitting there for a long, long time. And it is made by Bluebird Team, who also made Observer. Longtime fans of our Comic Bros podcast may have heard when I was ranting and raving about that more than a year ago now, which is surprising because a walking simulator is not my cup of tea usually. I was very surprised by Observer, so I was like, yeah, I'll try Layers of Fear. The story is you're a painter in the 1900s-ish, maybe give or take 20 years. You hear a little story blurb with a black screen. I really thought my computer had glitched or something. And then you walk into your house, and that's when the black screen goes away and you can actually see. And you just start exploring your house, trying to piece together what has happened and what is happening. I don't want to get into the story any more than that because it's a walking sim. You're trying to put the story together. That's the point of the game. Holy crap. This is one of very, very few horror titles that made me really uncomfortable with its story. It's very disturbing. Everything that could be wrong is. I had several times where I was like, that is fucked up. Like, it's bad. And it's like, I'm trying to think of an example. I'd probably say like Stephen King, maybe, but worse, because he's got some relief, some high points, like in The Shining. I haven't made it all the way through the book, but that one really disturbed me because it's like, it felt like every single chapter mentions suicide, and it's very intentional in its writing to make you feel claustrophobic, and you feel the degradation in Jack's relationship with his wife and his kid and whatever, his sanity. But there's still a couple of points where Jack's son is just exploring the hotel and it's fun and light, or Jack will, sits down to write and is making progress. There's relief there. Whereas this one, there's just nothing. It just gets darker and darker and darker all the time. I took offense at how many jump scares there were, but that's mostly because they got me every time. And I'm usually really good at not jumping at jump scares. So it was like, it pissed me off each time. The walking simulator part of it is you tour the house same, and then something happens, and then you tour the house, and every time you take a tour of the house, things get weirder and weirder and more messed up each time. And so that means you have to run the house gauntlet 6 times to finish the game.
Oof, that's rough.
Maybe even 8 times. I don't remember.
Ooh.
With 3 possible endings. By the end, I had no idea how puzzles were even supposed to start. I just found something, like I found a Ouija board, and I was like, okay. And it had everything there and like no hint of what to highlight at all. I didn't see anything in the room. I didn't see anything in the hallways leading up to the room. I had no idea, but it turned out to be optional, and I just skipped it. And there were a couple of puzzles where it was optional. I just skipped it because I just wanted to be done. Partly because I was so uncomfortable, but also because, as far as I could tell, there were no saves. Like, obviously, it had the loading logo after each run of the gauntlet, but I had no idea if I quit out, if it would bring me back to like basically halfway through the game that I've already run, or if it would restart or whatever. And I didn't want to lose my progress. So I had to play the whole game in one sitting because I didn't want to lose my progress.
Oof.
It took me 2.5, 3 hours, I think, to beat it. It's tough to review because it didn't do it for me. I had pieced together most of the story. Felt like I had missed something. So I hit up YouTube and I was doing some research, and yeah, I missed a couple of little things, but nothing major like what it felt like. After, watching the whole story on YouTube, I was like, yeah, still feel like I missed something, but that could just be I'm thick. One thing I know I missed was the ending. I ran around the house. It dumps you back in the normal house at the end of the game after you've run the gauntlet. And I did the house like 3 or 4 times, upstairs and downstairs, and I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, maybe that's just the end. And I quit out and uninstalled it before I could figure out what the real ending was. There was one object I had to interact with, and that was the end. So whatever. I'm never going to play this again. This is for horror fans. It does horror really well. I was unnerved. It's also for walking sim fans or veterans. If either of those apply to you, I would suggest $10 for regulars, $15, which is, I'm pretty sure is the asking price usually on Steam. If you'll replay it. If both of those worlds apply to you, full price is understandable, definitely, because there's 3 endings and there's a lot of story to piece together. You're not going to get it all in one run. No way. I got it for free because Humble Bundle was giving it away a couple of years ago, and I just picked it up like that. So for a free title, I can't complain. Also, I got the second game for free from Epic a couple of months ago. So I'm probably going to install that and review it on here at some point. So that has been my month of gaming.
See, I feel like we need to make you do exclusively walking sim reviews and then me exclusively horror reviews, so we both kill ourselves.
That sounds like our show would be a limited release.
Oh, it's special edition.
There'd be nobody to take over for us when we're dead.
Well, then we could just have Colin hop on, every 5 minutes and talk about like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing.
I played the new map on Halo Infinite.
Ooh, I mean, that's what I'd be doing if I wasn't talking to you, but